Hey guys, it's Eiotclub here, bringing you a new video. So the great folks over at Switchbot have sent me over yet another amazing product to show you guys. Now their slogan for this product is "One remote to rule them all," which I think is perfect. So this is a universal remote that not only is going to connect in via infrared to all of your IR devices, but it's also going to work with a Switchbot hub, preferably one that supports Matter, because this remote is the first universal remote on the market that supports Matter, which I think is even cooler. So not only does this support infrared and Bluetooth, but it's going to support Matter devices with a Matter-enabled hub as well. So the possibilities there are almost endless, which makes this thing very nice. If you pick it up on Switchbot's website right now, you can get it for under 60 bucks. Don't forget, you're going to need a hub to make this thing fully work. So you either need a Switchbot Hub 2, which will support Matter, or their new Hub 2 Mini, which also supports Matter. But without further ado, let's dive right in. Alright, so I already mentioned that you can pick this thing up on Switchbot's website for like under 60 bucks. But right now, if you head over to Amazon's website and look at Switchbot's Amazon storefront, you can pick this thing up for under 50 bucks. That's a pretty significant discount. If you consider all of Switchbot's capabilities just within their own ecosystem, and then you throw in the ability to have a universal remote to replace all of those other infrared remotes that you might be using, this thing may be the best one on the market. So let's get started.
So let's get this box opened up here. Switchbot always does an amazing job of marketing on the outside of their boxes. I mean, it looks so clean. They got information there on the back, kind of giving you some of the details there. So if we slide this lid off here, right here on top, we have the remote itself. Of course, we gotta kind of get it popped out here. It's got that plastic on it, so you know it's brand new. Let's see if we can get this thing out of the wrapping. There we go. At the top of the remote is a nice little display there. It's got 4 buttons underneath it. And of course you can see a plethora of other buttons there down below that, including the volume, the channels, and a little directional dial as well. This remote is pretty lightweight. It doesn't feel cheap, but it's definitely not very heavy at all. It will use USB-C to charge it. Now besides the remote, the only thing else that comes in the box is a USB charger, and then of course we have some instructions for getting it set up in the Switchbot app. Now I'm not going to go through an unboxing of the Switchbot Hub Mini with Matter support, since I've done that in previous videos. I will have links to the videos that I did with the Switchbot Hub Mini as well as the Switchbot Hub 2. So let's go ahead and move on to the next step, and we'll get this remote added into the Switchbot app. Alright, so now we are ready to get the remote added into the Switchbot app. And once we do that, then we'll be able to control devices that are set up in our hub. So either the Switchbot Hub 2, which is one of the options, or the newer Switchbot Hub Mini with Matter support. And both of those hubs do support Matter devices, so that's pretty cool. So here we are in the Switchbot app, and if we can hit that plus up in the top corner there, then we'll go and select Universal Remote. And the next step is going to be getting that remote into pairing mode. So if you have just opened the box for your remote, you may want to put that thing on the charger just to get it charged up a little bit, give it a little bit of power. But once you do and you're ready to turn that remote on, then we're going to hold those two buttons that you can see showing there in the clip. We'll hold those down and it will basically put the remote in pairing mode. We'll give it a second to connect to the device, and then we should be able to assign the remote a name. I'm using this remote in my living room, so I'm going to go ahead and call it LR Remote. And then of course for the room location, we're going to just say living room. We will give it a second to connect, and then boom. It looks like we have a firmware update to apply to the remote, so we'll go ahead and do that here as well. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through that. No reason to sit there and watch that, but nonetheless, the remote is now set up in the Switchbot app, and we are ready to get devices added into Switchbot as well, so that we can start controlling them with the remote. Here we are in the settings for the remote itself. And you can see right there at the top, we show the remote is connected via Bluetooth to my phone. And it shows the cloud, meaning it's connected to a hub, as well as the battery status there. Now, just below that is the various pages that will actually display on the remote display for the various devices that are connected to the remote. So the first one is the Matter devices, which really is just a way for me to program each of the 4 buttons below the display with Matter devices that are connected to my Switchbot Hub 2. So I have my living room lights connected on that first button, so that's why it's labeled there. And we can adjust the labels here for other stuff as well. So if I want to change the title at the top from accessory to smart home, which I think is a good idea, we can do that here as well. And if we swipe over, we can see the other devices that I have connected. So here is my Switchbot K10 Plus vacuum. We have my Apple TV in my living room, as well as my living room TV itself. And if we click on Manage Devices just below that, we can change the order of these if we wanted to display them in a different order on the remote. But if we go into the settings cog up in the top corner there, we can edit the name if we want to, along with the room location. There are a few device settings here. If we wanted to adjust the auto brightness, and by default the touch wheel is disabled, but I prefer to use the touch wheel, so I have it enabled on mine. It kind of gives you more of an Apple remote feel, so I like that. If you don't want the remote beeping every time you push a button, then you can display button sound. The raise to wake feature is a nice feature as well. So if you bring the remote up to your face to look at the screen, or if you just bring the remote up to control a device, it should turn that display on, which makes it easier to see what you are controlling. Other than that, you can adjust the auto dim setting for the display, which by default it's set to 15 seconds, which I think is a pretty decent time. And then the temperature unit, which will be used as well. So I think by default it was Celsius. I switched mine over to Fahrenheit. Let's see what else we got here. So language, if you needed to adjust that, there are a few options there. We can check for firmware updates here, which we've already done, so we are up to date on that. And then we got the device info as well, which shows the Bluetooth address if you needed it. Lastly, if you want to add additional devices, this is where you would do that as well. So you hit that plus in the top corner, and then you can add third-party devices like Apple TV or Fire TV or something like that, as well as import existing appliances that are already connected via your hub. So if you already have some devices that are connected via your hub for infrared, like TV or things like that, they will show up in a list, or you can actually add them right here as well. But that's about it for the configuration options in the app. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step, and we'll go over Matter connection with Home Assistant.
So in order to be able to use the remote within the Matter network, I need to make sure that my Switchbot hub is connected in Matter. So if I go into settings for my Switchbot hub 2, and I go under Matter setup, you can see there at the top I have it linked, so that's good. And if we click on secondary devices, you can see the devices that I have associated. So I have my robot vacuum, there is the universal remote, and then of course the two sensors that are built into the Switchbot hub 2. So basically what this does for us is that it allows us to use the 4 buttons just below the display on that remote control to control devices in Matter, which, since my Home Assistant server is also connected in Matter, I can control any device that I have set up in Home Assistant as well, which makes this remote that much cooler. So here we are in Home Assistant, and this is all of the Matter devices that I currently have configured. And you can see the Switchbot Hub 2 listed there, and if we click on that, you can see what devices are connected there. The second one on the list is the LR remote, which is our living room remote. And if we click on that, it has 4 events here that we can use to create automations in Home Assistant, allowing us to control devices with the buttons on that Switchbot remote. So you can see that first one there is called LR Light button, and so we have an automation configured for this already. And if we go over there under automations and click on that automation there, I can show you what that looks like. So basically what's going to happen is when the event is triggered there, meaning that button is pushed, we want the living room lights to toggle. So if the lights are already on and we push that button, the lights will turn off, and vice versa. But that's really it. So we now have the Switchbot remote controlling a Z-Wave light switch that I have configured in Home Assistant. It was that simple. So let's go ahead and move on to the last step, and I'll give you my final thoughts.
Alright, so I wanted to show you a little bit of footage here. So here is a little clip of the remote actually turning the light on and off. So again, just to kind of give you a full explanation, this is my Switchbot remote controlling a Z-Wave device that I have configured in Home Assistant. So they're all connecting through Matter, which is allowing me to do that. Now on to the only con I've ran into really so far with this remote, and that is that for some reason, and I think it's just a bug in the configuration, but I can't seem to change the name of any of the other buttons. So you can see I managed to change the name of that first button there in my Matter accessories. I've called it Living Room Light or LR Light, but I want to change that second one to be LR Window so that I can use it for opening and closing the window. Now, that being said, the button itself will function correctly. It works with the automation I have in Home Assistant, just like I showed you in the previous step, but I cannot get it to actually change the name, it just errors out. I'll put a link in the description below to a forum post that also talks about this. Apparently this is a known issue, so hopefully it will get resolved at a future firmware update. But other than that, I love the Switchbot remote. This thing is awesome. The fact that I can pretty much control any device I want in Home Assistant just utilizing Matter and my Switchbot Hub 2, or even a Hub Mini with Matter support, is great. And for the price, I guarantee you're not going to find something better. This remote works great. It has that find feature, so if you lose the remote somewhere in your couch or your kids hide it somewhere, you have the ability to use the app to search for the remote, and it will go off and you'll find it. This thing is great. I will have links in the description below to both Switchbot's website as well as their Amazon storefront. If you're not interested in this particular product, head over there, see what else they have to offer. I guarantee you'll find something that you do like.
As always, I want to thank everybody for donating to my Buy Me a Coffee link. Every little bit helps. If you haven't had a chance, head over to my spring merchandise page and check out all of the Burns Home Automation merchandise. And if you haven't already, you're going to want to check out PrivadoVPN. I'll have a link in the description below. If you're looking for VPN service to really secure your internet traffic at home, you're going to want to check out PrivadoVPN. If you're looking for the latest smart home gear, you're going to want to check out SMONET. I'll have a link in the description below for them as well. If you head over there, you can see what deals they currently have running. If you're looking for the latest smart window treatment, you're going to want to check out Smartwings. I'll have a link in the description below for them as well. Head over there and see what deals they currently have running. And we can't forget about Eufy. You're going to want to check out Eufy Security and see what all kinds of specials they currently have running on all of their cameras and other security products. If you need SIM cards for any of your 4G enabled IoT devices, then you're going to want to check out Eiotclub. I'll have a link in the description below. Head over there and see what specials they're currently running on their SIM cards. If you're interested in buying and selling stock or maybe cryptocurrency, you're going to want to check out Robinhood. I'll have a link in the description below. If you sign up with that link, you and I both will get a free share of stock. It's a win-win for both of us. As always, if you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comments below. If there are any videos out there that you would like to see that I don't already have out there, let me know in the comments as well, and I'll see if I can't get something put together for you guys. Otherwise, I'll see you guys around.